What's going on? Welcome to episode number 6 of the Look Mum, I'm Hustling podcast. My name is Drew.
I'm Sarah.
And we're back at you with another one of these episodes.
Ooh.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. We've got a pretty interesting topic today, something that very, very passionate about. How you feeling?
I'm feeling passionate.
You feeling passionate? Feeling raw and ready to go?
Raw and ready. I just wanted to quickly say thank you to everyone that's been supporting the podcast and sending us their kind words and following us along on our little journey. If you're new here, we have 5 episodes out now that you can listen to on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and the video versions over on YouTube.
Yes, our last episode we talked through are you a hoarder or a hustler? Do you collect or do you just store things and let it sit there diminishing in value?
Did we determine what we were? Are we hoarders or hustlers?
We're hustlers. Always got to be hustlers. I mean, that's our name, isn't it? We're Look Mum, I'm Hustling.
That's
so
true.
we got to live up to it.
Look Mum, I'm Hoarding. That could be a follow-up venture entirely.
It could be. Like maybe 5 years down the track, everything's just gone to crap.
Got 3 bedrooms. Look, Mums, turns out we're hoarders.
Yeah, nah. We've always got to make Mum proud. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, so quickly wanted to say thank you to everyone that supported us on both the It's Drew and Sarah platforms and over here on the Look Mum, I'm Hustling podcast.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Big appreciation for all that, for sure.
Big kisses.
Alrighty.
All right, let's get into today's episode or topic. Now, you've pretty much taken the reins on this one, so
yes.
You're going to be carrying the show. I think I'm just going to be in my relaxed pose, so I'm going to be sit back and
enjoy the ride
and just comment and speculate on some of the topics we're talking about. So, we're talking about... Do you want to intro it?
Let me take this over. All right. So today we're going to talk a little bit or just touch on sustainability. Obviously, sustainability is a whole huge overlay of just like pretty much everything in general. But we're just going to talk about how to just be a little bit more eco or environmentally friendly around the home, within our business, personally, just like sort of general stuff. As we always say, we are not perfect. We do make mistakes. We do get a little bit lazy here and there, but these are just some little things that we do to sort of just contribute and I guess lessen our footprint.
Right. And I should preface, like, sustainability, like you said, is a humongous topic. So we're probably going to touch on a handful of things included in that sustainability realm. So I imagine there'll probably be follow-up episodes, maybe digging deeper into some of these topics or expanding into other areas that we don't touch. So
yeah, definitely.
We'll do our best to cover the things that we know about and we've experienced.
Yeah, and we're always happy to learn, always happy to get educated. Always happy to find new knowledge and ways to improve our lives and ways to improve the environment around us, for sure. So first up, sort of going to talk about just little things around the home. So something that's actually done quite recently is a fun topic as always, clogging drains. So yeah.
Clogging or unclogging?
Unclogging.
We're very good at clogging them.
Yes.
Not so good at unclogging them.
No. We've tried using like Drano, all that kind of stuff. Like that does help, but it's not very environmentally friendly with all the chemicals and stuff.
I love how this episode just jumping straight into draining tips without like building up anything. All right, step 1, fixing your drain.
Yeah, no, it's just like little things around the home.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so let's rewind.
Yeah.
We had a clogged sink, right?
We did have a clogged sink. And something that I've used before that works is the classic bicarb soda with some vinegar and a bit of lemon. So you let that sort of sit there in your drain and you just wash it down with some hot water, like boiling hot water. Do that a couple of times and it should unclog. I'm not a professional. I'm not a plumber or anything like that. But that's like one thing that I sort of do. So I don't use chemicals and stuff. If you guys are watching this, you can see sort of dry.
Set it up a bit more. Yeah. So sustainability.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's like tons of chemicals and stuff used for different household things, cleaning methods and whatnot. Obviously, there's laundry liquid, there's dishwashing liquid. In this case, one of the most common products is like a Drano or some sort of super processed liquid. What does it even do? Does it like...
It just like dissolves
Like
the clogs.
And food scraps and
Super
stuff.
harsh, yeah, because you can't get it on your hands or anything like that. So it's not good for you.
Yeah. So basically what we're trying to get at is sustainable options for around the house, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So we had a clogged drain.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't good.
No.
We couldn't do dishes for like a day.
Yeah, not couldn't do dishes.
We tried having, what did we have? Roast vegetables, and we had no forks.
No forks. Yeah, we had some old little plastic container ones. Like they're like kid forks. They're like super small.
I was very close to eating roast vegetables with a teaspoon.
With a teaspoon or a knife or something. You're like, I'll just have it with a knife.
Just a butter knife.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was clogged up, and then we did have some Drano lying around, so Drano no good. So I'm trying to
backtrack a bit.
Just to make it a bit more palatable for people to, rather than just jumping straight into try bicarb soda. So you tried one of your methods, and it is super, super successful.
Yeah.
So what is it again? Lemon?
So it's like a tablespoon of lemon, like quarter of a cup of bicarb. So whatever bicarb soda you use, just make sure you use equal parts vinegar. So yeah, you can just use normal like household vinegar. Don't need to use any of the fancy balsamic vinegar. Don't worry about that. But yeah, you just do that a couple of times, or as many times as you sort of need. I think I ended up doing it like twice.
Yeah.
Just to sort of unclog it, and that seemed to work. So that's just one little thing.
And the cool thing is that it's household items. Everyone's got some bicarb soda, probably a huge jug of vinegar or lemon juice or something lying around. So that's sort of what we're trying to get at here.
Yeah.
Household stuff can do the job a lot of the time.
Yeah, exactly. And so you're not buying a plastic bottle or anything like that. Yeah, you've just got to sort of got these things lying around the home. So little things like that. It's all about, just limiting your impact on the environment. So something like that can help out. Good for your drains, good for around the household. You don't have any bad chemicals or anything like that. Another thing we do is always repurposing jars and containers. We've got like so many jars, but we actually use most of them. So whether they're like mason jars or spaghetti jars, pesto jars, sun-dried tomato jars, all those kind of ones.
Glass jars are awesome. Like you can, speaking of hoarding, we probably have hoarded a lot. Like you say, we use a lot of them. We probably don't.
No.
we use some. We've got probably 20 more than we need.
Yeah.
But yeah, they can be used for making little vinaigrettes. Shake them up in there. Overnight oats, we use them a lot for.
Like just storing our nuts and things like that.
Nuts and stuff, yeah. Anything we buy in sort of bulk.
Yeah.
We like to put in those glass jars, and they stay fresh.
They do.
And airtight.
And we're reusing them. So even though all glass is recyclable, which leads on to our next one, is another thing is knowing what you can recycle and what you can't recycle. So with a lot of plastics, there's like it's like 1 to 7 recycling codes, and there's only maybe 3 to 4, I think, from memory that actually can be recycled at a household level. So not everything that you buy, even though it has like a little recycling symbol on the bottom with a number in it, that number will indicate if it's a household recyclable or if it's not recyclable, or you've got to drop it off at one of those like specialized centers. Yeah, so if you sort of know those codes, that way you can make sure you're recycling right at home. So glass is obviously one that you can pretty much recycle anytime as long as it doesn't have any metal or anything like that. But recycling right, that's a huge thing. So knowing your codes, and then once you sort of had segregated everything, you also can use the return, earn, and save.
Hold up for a second. Let me play devil's advocate.
Yeah.
7 codes?
Yeah, there's about 7.
Who the hell is going to remember all 7 codes?
I mean, I didn't know them, so I actually looked up online
Is that what you have written down there?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I just bought it to sort of remind me. But yeah, there's like 7 codes that you can use depending, what type of plastic it is.
Yeah. It's so confusing though.
It is super confusing. Yeah. So
obviously they've refined it to a point that's the best they can get to.
Exactly, yeah.
But there should be an easier way. Maybe there's an app or something we're not aware of that you can look at, or just even scan Google Images, a symbol or something. But that's confusing.
Yeah, but on the back of or on the bottom of all the plastics will have the symbol and the number. So as long as you're with like the main household ones that you know you can recycle, so whether I think it's 1, 2, and 5, you can recycle at a household level.
In the yellow bin?
In the yellow bin, yeah. So those are those ones. So if you know those basic numbers, that way you know you're putting the right things in recycle and it's just not getting chucked out or going to landfill unnecessarily. And then there's some that you can take to specialized recycling centers as well, depending on the number it is.
Which is what we do. So we we have the return. Is it return and earn?
Yeah, return, earn, and save.
Okay.
So yeah, whether it's the glass, plastic, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so we have a big box or two in the garage, and we'll throw all the bottles in there. What do we use? Just cans of soft drink and stuff like that.
Yeah, a little soft drink. Like sometimes we'll get juice. Once in a blue moon, we'll grab a 6-pack of beers. We don't really drink very often, so we'll do some of that. But I think it takes us like 2-3 months to have like a big box enough. Like we're actually pretty good. We don't have a lot of excess waste.
Yeah, and I mean we could just throw it into the yellow bin, but we can pull. I think is it 5 cents per bottle,
something like that. Yeah, and that's just the hustler in us. So yeah, if we can earn a little bit of money, just putting in that extra effort to save those recyclables and then go to those centers, we can get a little bit money from it.
Yeah, I mean I think we've pulled. You get like a little barcode coupon, right? And I think it was like $8 and we just bought a loaf of bread and some milk or something.
Yeah, depending on the return, earn and save center. So some you can donate, some you'll get cash back. And then the one that we mainly use, you get like a Woolies voucher. So we just use that towards our own groceries.
Yeah.
Cool. Put it back.
$5-10 doesn't hurt.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, so that's another good one. Plus I always like getting a little bit of money for putting in some effort, which is always nice.
Yeah. And with those, what is it? Return, earn and save, facility, like bin type things they use, that it's going to be recycled 100%. I'm pretty skeptical in the yellow bins. I've seen different blog posts and videos about how much of it is actually getting recycled and how much of it is just ending up in landfill anyway. So it's a little bit more peace of mind knowing that you're putting it in a proper recycling thing.
Exactly, yeah, because they're not just going to give you money for putting it in the wrong place.
Well, exactly, yeah, that's right.
Nah, so that's awesome. Another thing that we sort of do is food waste and compost. So that's another good thing. If you have a worm farm, you can pop it back into your own garden. You can make great fertilizer from it. But yeah, that's another thing. Like food waste isn't too bad because it does degrade after time, as food waste usually does.
Yeah.
But if you can repurpose that into something else, that's always really handy too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Food waste, like you said, it breaks down very easily in the right environment. I think if you put it in if you have a plastic bag and throw your scraps in there and seal it up, it produces, I could be completely wrong here.
Yeah.
Take this information with a big old grain of salt.
Big old grain of salt.
I think it produces more carbon dioxide or some sort of gas.
Like it ferments in the bag?
Yeah, something like that. And it's just not the best option. As opposed to obviously chucking it in a worm farm or letting it decompose in the grass or something. And
some councils, depending on what area you live in as well, so some councils actually have a separate compost bin and they come around and collect all your compost as well. I know it's in a lot of I was about to say hippie areas, but it's just in the more of the liberal sort of greens areas. Yeah, they'll have some areas that will, like you're saying, they'll have some that will come pop around and pick up your compost and everything, and they'll end up probably reusing that for their council gardens, all
probably
that kind of stuff.
Probably a council or community garden or something. Yeah,
which is always another good thing. And you can just do a quick Google search and you can contact people that will actually come pick up your food scraps. You've got some people that actually come pick up your recycling as well. So you have those people that do it for you. If you use a lot of vegetable oil at home or in a restaurant, they do have some services where they'll come pick up your oil as well and they'll recycle that properly. We don't use a lot of oil. We try to be a little bit on the healthier side. Yeah. So we do have maybe 1 or 2 jars full of oil that I'm just saving until we have enough to drop off somewhere.
And with the food scraps as well, one option is to, like you said, dispose of the waste correctly. Another option is just to buy what you actually need. So we've done an episode about budgeting and how we do our meal planning and stuff in advance. That alone can reduce the amount of food waste you have dramatically, because every step of the food chain from the farm to the transportation, refrigeration, supermarket to your own fridge, there's so many steps of waste produced along the line. Yeah. Whether it's energy or water waste or packaging waste or whatever. So if you can do your part before you even buy the food to not overspend and buy things that you actually need and have planned for, just means there's going to be less waste coming out of your fridge and then less going into the worm farm or the bin or wherever else. So
such a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that's really, really helpful. Yeah. If you budget or plan literally the food that you need, then ideally you won't actually have a lot of waste. And we find that, so we don't actually have a lot of packaging waste. We don't have a lot of food waste. We're pretty good with our recycling and just rubbish and stuff in general. We're pretty conscious about that, or try to be conscious.
We could get a lot better. Like,
100%.
There are really good YouTube channels, none of which I can name on the spot right now, but there's what are they called?
Minimalists?
They're obviously minimalists, but it's more just like the minimal amount of plastic waste. Like, people can fit all their rubbish in like a glass.
Oh, the jar challenge.
Yeah, is it a jar challenge?
Yeah. So some people have like, it's like a plastic jar challenge. You have like, depending on who you are or whatever, you have like maybe like a liter jar, 2 liter jar or something like that. And I think it's like a year, and you try to fit all the plastic into that jar, and that's all the plastic you can have. It's hectic.
It's next level. Like, that's impressive.
Super, super impressive. And like, to find out, and it's just about putting in that little bit extra effort and finding out where to get those sort of items, which we'll touch on a little bit later. Another good thing at home is, which we always do, is like recycle old clothes. So obviously we would resell our own clothes that are resellable. But sometimes, you'll have like a dirty, like stained up thing that you just can't resell. So I'll end up using it for scrap. So whether it's like cleaning cloths, or I'll actually turn them into like tug toys for Archie or things like that as well. So you can
That's right. You made that snuffle mat.
I did, yeah. I had a whole bunch of like old clothes that we just couldn't, not resellable or anything like that. So I cut it all up into strips, tied it around like a outdoor mat type thing, and then turned into like a snuffle mat for Archie to find treats and stuff in.
Yeah, so we're just covered in random bits of fabric and then put treats in there, and he doesn't know where the hell it is, and he snuffles in the mat, so therefore snuffle mat.
Snuffle mat, good stimulation for dogs for sure. Yeah, so that's another thing you can sort of do. Personally, or being eco, like in our own personal lives, so obviously we have our thrifted wardrobe, absolutely love.
Yep.
Yeah, so the past 2 years, I mean, besides the underwears and socks and things, everything else has been secondhand, which is awesome. So that's, limiting our use of fast fashion, which we're big believers on, just being a little bit more conscious of that, because a lot of clothes end up in landfill, unfortunately. So that's another good one. A lot of you already know that we are plant-based as well, so that actually limits our own footprint. Another thing is just simple things like beauty and hygiene products as well. So you can actually buy ones that are more sustainable, not as much chemicals or anything like that, like they're environmentally friendly. Yeah, so little things like that, just switching it up. So like one thing is like cotton tips. You can buy like biodegradable ones, or ones that are made out of bamboo. Things like that will break down, because a lot of that stuff would have plastic attached to it.
Everything, like shampoo. Have you ever tried making your own shampoo?
I haven't. I've looked at so many YouTube videos of like shampoo, like body soap, all that kind of stuff.
I know that's a cartoon. Have you ever seen Wild Thornberries?
Yeah.
Where they make their own shampoo? Sorry, that's the first thing that came to my mind. But yeah, talking earlier about like the bicarb soda and vinegar and stuff for unclogging the drains, I'm sure there's some wild shampoo recipes with some hemp oil and some avocado and Manuka honey or something. Yeah,
for sure. I know with a lot of popular like homemade body scrubs, you use like coconut oil and things like that to really put through. So you can make those ones. That is something I'd sort of like to do later on. Again, they take time, and we don't really have a lot of time.
Well, I've got plenty of hair to trial on if you don't want to ruin your own.
No, we can just trial on your hair, just shave it off if it ends up not working. But yeah, little things like that you can really do to sort of limit. I know there's websites and things that you can go that will, I guess, send you shampoo refills, all that kind of stuff, which you can do.
Like Lush was a very good one if you want to refill your tubs.
Yeah, and that way you can, bring your own tub, all that kind of stuff. So again, limiting use of plastic. That is something that we can definitely do better at. We tend to buy some store-bought stuff, but I tend to always buy vegan products anyway, ones that are cruelty-free, environmentally free. They do tend to be a little bit more expensive, but I don't mind doing that if it just helps that little bit extra.
Cool. So many tips. All right, next one. How do we be eco in our business? How do we be eco in a business? It is hard. It is very hard. One of the most obvious ways is our packaging.
Yes.
So we buy and sell used clothes and other secondhand goods. Obviously, you have to send it in something. That would be, that was our first sort of thing or aspect of the business that needed to be addressed or changed or refined to make more sustainable and in line with sort of our ethos and morals around what we want our business to be and stand for. So we sell secondhand clothes. We're trying to minimize fast fashion and the unwanted waste that's
that we produce
that
and
we
everything.
produce when the clothes are produced. So the obvious next step would be to have some sort of sustainable or more sustainable option of packaging.
Yeah, definitely. And we actually decided that really, really early on. I brought to you, I was like, how can we, because we're quite environmentally conscious anyway. I was like, how can we sort of help this? And so one thing is Hero Packaging, which I absolutely love. Like Hero Packaging, it's biodegradable or I can never say this word, compostable. Compostable.
Yeah.
But they're also Australian based as well, which is what I absolutely love. Yeah. So locally based, they actually saw like a hole in the market. They were had an online e-commerce store and they wanted to limit their, I guess, plastic production and all that kind of stuff because they realized how much they were using. So they invented Hero Packaging, which is amazing.
And there's a bunch of other companies out there, but it's the first one we've used and we've never had a problem and it's a very fair and competitive price. So, and they're black as well. They look awesome.
You can actually get really cool colors as well. So they have like pastel, you pay a little, I think it's like $1 extra, but you can get like pastel pink and blue and really, really cute packaging you can get. Yeah, but we just do the classic black because it's the cheaper option. But yeah.
And it is, I mean, I don't know what it compares to in terms of price to traditional Ozpost packaging or just plain white satchels you can buy off eBay. But if it's an extra 5 or 10 cents per package, I'm happy to pay that. I mean, we're selling secondhand goods and getting a good amount of profit on that. I feel like it's our duty to provide some sort of sustainable aspect in the packaging system. We do use bubble wrap. That's
only when necessary, though.
Only when necessary, and we don't sell that much stuff that is fragile and needs packaging. So that's probably the next step. I'd like to see if there's some sort of bubble wrap made from, I don't know, rice or something that we can look into. But the main thing is the Hero Packaging. Super sustainable compared to other options anyway. We source a lot of used boxes from our workplaces. So we don't buy new boxes or anything like that.
No, and we do a lot of online ordering for Archie for like his medicines and treats and all that kind of stuff. So we get good sized boxes. Like you said, we only use bubble wrap when necessary. So we only try to use paper, crumpled up paper and reused paper for that thing. Would like to eventually get some biodegradable tape, but we've got like millions of rolls of tape at the moment that we got from eBay, so we've got to get through that first.
Yeah, there's only so much you can really do without going over the top. So I think the main thing is just doing one thing at a time, seeing what is an easy option for making your business more sustainable. And it's up to you whether you want to balance cost of resources versus sort of business ethos and what your brand is about. So we're about sustainability overall in essence. So we wanted to portray that to our buyers and everything.
For sure, yeah. And it's just being conscious of the waste that you're producing and then just trying to we're always trying to get better. Just try and get better at the stuff that you do, for sure.
We got to try.
Yeah, we got to try.
Okay.
All right. Book review.
Time for a book review. I haven't read this book. This is all on you. So it's going to be interesting. You've said a few times in passing that you really enjoyed this one and wanted to bring it up. I didn't really have the time to start from scratch and listen to it. So I'm keen to hear what review you have in store for us today, Sarah.
Oh, well, thank you for setting up the stage for me. All right. So thank you. So this book is, have you ever heard of someone called Sir David Attenborough?
I have, yeah.
Yeah.
He goes all right.
He does go all right. Also, you could listen to his voice for days. But the book that I read recently, so A Life on Our Planet, it sort of breaks down, I guess, his story, sort of like how he fell into the job as well. So he actually wasn't planning on being an environmentalist at all and documenting all that kind of stuff. It just talks through, I guess, how he actually fell into the role, and then he was like wholeheartedly 100% committed when he did it. So
So how did he get into it? I'm one of the earliest video clips I've seen of him is in, I don't know, we're in Africa somewhere wrestling around with the gorillas when he's probably, 30 or something at the time?
Yeah, that was super, super early on in his career. So they actually had one main guy that was doing the hosting. So they had like a studio at the BBC. And that's when they'll start, educating about animals and all that kind of stuff. But then they were like, we need more. So then I think the other guy was sick. Sorry, it's been a while since I've read the book as well. But then they needed him on camera. So David Attenborough went on camera. And the rest is sort of history. But that gorilla scene was super famous because it was like one of the first times they actually got gorillas on camera.
They were super gentle and everything.
Exactly, yes. They went with guides, and they actually went a couple of times before they started filming until like the gorillas got comfortable with them sitting there. And eventually the baby gorillas and all that kind of stuff were getting curious and then coming up and everything. And it just sort of shows you how like amazing animals are and how gentle and everything they can be.
Yeah.
But yeah, he fully immersed himself and committed like 100% to education, teaching people about the environment, about the animals, just the amazing world in general. And as you know, like David Attenborough, dives into certain aspects of the environment. He'll dive into certain areas of species, whether they're endangered or not. It's pretty amazing. And he just talks through, I guess, the changes in the environment he's seen throughout his whole entire time, because he was like, all right, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. Was like just talking about it everywhere, but it just because of his long history in what he's been doing, it started to get a bit depressing of just how much the environment has changed, how many species have been lost, how many less species there are, so whether they're insects, all that kind of stuff. And he was going through about the different stages. If we don't take action, what can happen? Yeah. And it started to get a bit depressing. But then the last chapter was like the steps that we can take and the things that we can do to make sure we don't get to that catastrophic stage of like the environment just crumbling around us.
Yeah. And well, he's got a very unique firsthand experience. Like there wouldn't be many other people on the planet that have been to so many countries and literally done thousands and thousands of hours of voiceover of different animals and species and habits they possess. So he's seen it all. There's no one else out there that's done as much as him.
Yep.
Like for conservation or environmentalism.
Yeah, it's amazing just the amount of work he's put into it. It's just, I guess I wouldn't know so much if it wasn't for him. He makes it interesting.
He does, yeah. It's crazy to think about. And there's Jane Goodall as well. She's done great work with the chimpanzees.
Yeah. No, it's really... Yeah, I highly recommend the book just to read in general. I mean, everybody loves his documentaries, all the BBC Earths and all that kind of stuff, the life on our planet. But also with the book, there's like a complimentary documentary as well. Yeah, so if you don't want to read the book, I mean, I listen to the audiobook version, and if you like his voice, you can just tune in.
Narrates it?
He narrates it,
nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. How long is the audiobook?
A couple of hours, it is, yeah.
A couple of hours? Like 8, 20?
I think it's like 5 hours.
Is that it?
I think so,
That's quick.
Yeah, it's not super, super long. He sort of condenses everything into it, but it's just more about the changes he's seen.
Okay.
Like what can happen if we don't take action, but what you can do to take action.
Are there any other experts in there? Is it all just him?
It's just his life. Yeah, so it's like his biography in a way.
And what can we do? Give us the punchline or the 2 or 3 bullet points. Everyone knows the Earth is not going so great. A lot of species going extinct every year and global warming.
Yeah.
There's going to be an ocean full of masks in 12 months. What can we do right now to make a change?
Yeah, so a huge thing is probably energy source, so like where you get your electricity, all that kind of stuff. So they talk through sustainable energy sourcing, so whether it's wind farms, solar farms, things like that. For ourselves, we actually are on an electricity company called Powerhouse. And I did a bit of another Google search, but they're the most...
I used to go to under 18 discos called Powerhouse. That just
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Flooded back with memory. Sorry to cut you off.
No, that's okay.
Powerhouse.
Yeah, so Powerhouse is one of the most, I think all their energy is sustainably sourced, so it's all green energy.
Okay.
So I decided to go through that. That is, again, a little bit more expensive, but that was just something that I personally wanted to do just to help out. They don't have gas available in Sydney. I think it is available in Melbourne, but they said they'll let me know when it switches over in Sydney. I think the next best one was like Red Energy for gas, so that's what our gas is with. So little things like that. So where your electricity comes from, you can just do a bit of a Google search to see what's the most environmentally friendly or has the less bad impact. Another thing is obviously with climate change. They talk through about limiting your meat consumption. So that's another huge one. That's something that we're already doing. That's like a whole nother big ballpark. We always say just do your own research for that kind of thing. If you're thinking about changing, you know, what motivates you for that kind of thing. But obviously with farming, agricultural farming, that's a huge impact on the environment. And I know a lot of people say, well, you know, vegetable farming and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, there's huge statistics and stuff on it for sure. Yeah,
we're not saying plant-based diets or vegan diets are the best for animal protection and stuff. Obviously, clearing land to produce any sort of crop or raise any sort of animal is going to destroy a lot of natural habitats.
Yeah.
But it's just one other option. Something I was thinking about real quickly, there are a lot of things we can do on a personal level, but obviously as a community and at a wider level, there is more you can do. It's just about finding other options. So I quickly thought of like superannuation. Like people put money into superannuation for their retirement. You can actually change the companies that your super money is invested in. You can choose to do a more green or eco-friendly sort of plan or package, and your money is going to be invested into companies that are looking towards the future and trying to create a more sustainable future. So you can put your money in companies that are going to work for us and others as well. Just little things like that you can think about as well.
Yeah, and every little aspect of your life can either impact or, you know, make the environment better or worse. But it's just looking how you interact with the world and seeing what you can do to make a difference. Yeah. Cool. Nothing like huge like that, but that's just something that we do in our lives. So personal lives, around the house, within our business, just sort of limit our carbon footprint.
Yeah, we can't all be superheroes, but we can at least try to make a little change here and there.
Yeah, exactly.
Super simple. All right, that is episode number 6, wrapped up and done, packaged up in a little bow.
Yep, compostable bow.
Compostable bow. There you go. I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for listening to another one of these Look Mum I'm Hustling episodes. If you haven't listened to any of the previous ones, go back, check them out. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, plenty of stuff for you to listen to. Drop a rating review. 5 stars would be amazing. Help us to support the show and to increase the viewership or listenership of the podcast and help the name get out there a bit more.
It does, yeah. It helps us within the algorithm, all that kind of stuff. So really appreciate it. Also lets us know what you think too. So whether you like the content that we're putting out or if you want to hear something that's a little bit different, yeah, feel free to give us a review. Follow us on all the social platforms. If you want to see the video format, have a look on the YouTubes and drop a comment below there as well.
All right. Thank you guys so much for listening. We'll see you guys in the next episode.
Thank you. See ya.
See ya.